Ding, 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 we have a winner. I think I just read the worst science fiction book in my entire reading career. A ton of sci-fi books over the years, and this one just might be the worst book ever. It could, of course, be recency bias, but this one's pretty bad, pretty awful, and unfortunately, I'm talking about one of my favorite authors, Stephen King. Stephen, what have you done? The Tommyknockers. This is not great. This is awful, awful writing. All starts with this. Over 800 pages. Now, I'm sure there is a good story here. I'm sure if this was cut down to, a golden age pulpy size of maybe 200 pages tops, this could have been more fun. 300 pages, I'll give you that much, Stephen. But over 800 pages, way too much fat, redundancies, things are being repeated, threads are going places unnecessarily, characters are being introduced that really do not add anything to the storyline. This was bad. This was awful. Kind of like Showgirls being such a bad movie, though, that you almost want to see it. You want to watch it. This is the type of book for me that I actually had kind of fun reading / listening to because of how bad it got. Of course, Stephen King was writing this book. This book was fueled by cocaine, alcohol, who knows what else was in the mix at the time. I think he himself admitted that he feels this is an awful book. That's a quote. And it was, I believe again, this was the last book he wrote prior to getting cleaned up. And I'm so happy that he did get cleaned from alcohol, from cocaine, from drugs, because I don't think he would still be here writing with us in 2025 if he continued down this path. So that's a good thing. What is this book about? Well, it's one of the few pure science fiction books that Stephen King wrote, and no spoilers here, but we start off small town, of course, Maine. A woman goes into the forest with her dog on a walk. She lives on the edge of this forest and she trips. She stumbles over something. She's curious. This is a weird object that's sticking out of the ground. She starts digging. No spoiler, because this is right in the beginning of the book. She is unearthing a UFO. So the premise is interesting, intriguing, and this book, like I said, it's not all bad. The characters are, it's Stephen King, so some of the characters are good. They're just overdeveloped for no reason at all, because they don't add anything to the plot, a lot of them. But some of the character work is good. The place is fine. The aliens, however, I thought were really, really poor. The story just meanders for no reason. It starts and goes. The ebb and flow of this book is all over the place. The pacing is awful, and just so much fat that could have been trimmed. Redundancies. People repeat the same words all the time, and everyone does it. It is such a weird thing. I've never seen that in a Stephen King book. People have these mental conversations with themselves all the time. These mental dialogues, internal dialogues, unbearable to read. Before anyone does anything, they have to think about it. Come on, you can do it, Dick. Oh, this was pretty bad, pretty bad. Leave a comment down below if you actually like this book. I need to hear from you. Why did you like this book? If you didn't like it, leave a comment as well. Let me know that I'm correct here, calling this my worst sci-fi book ever. Of course, my favorite science fiction book from Stephen King. Well, here it is. Just as big, maybe bigger even, but I loved every single page here. This was such an amazing story. This also had dairy. This had harken back to It, and I love that. In this book, we get the same thing, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The grander universe of Stephen King that makes an appearance in this book just doesn't work at all. And in fact, the ending of this book is not bad. I was just happy that it's coming to an end, so maybe that was part of it. But if things happen in this grander universe that Stephen King creates with The Dark Tower and so many of his other books kind of connecting, if this actually happened, the reverberations of this would have to be seen throughout his other books, and we don't see that. So it's a little strange. Derry makes an appearance here. Anyway, oh my gosh, I'm happy that I read it. I'm probably being a little bit too harsh, maybe a bit on purpose on this book, because it wasn't horrible. It was kind of fun at times. There's pretty good action at times. But again, overall, I think this is a pretty poor writing for Stephen King. I just have such high expectations for anything I pick up from him, whether it's sci-fi like this book or The Stand or horror like it. This was kind of nothing in the end. The sci-fi elements were not here. If you're looking for any paradigm shift, if you're looking for a novum that a science fiction book should kind of give you this feeling of something grander, something new, this mind-blowing idea, nothing here of that sort. It could have been fun if it was much shorter. So anyway, this is just a quick review of the worst science fiction book I ever read. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm glad I read it, but yeah, this one needs to be thrown out.